If you are God's chosen ones, never reveal these 4 things to anyone. Journey of Spirits. Hey there, spiritual seekers and divine dreamers. Welcome back to Journey of Spirits, where we explore the hidden realms of the soul and uncover the secrets of the universe. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's going to blow your mind and maybe even change your life. Have you ever felt like you're different from everyone else? Like you're carrying a secret so profound it could shake the foundations of reality itself? Well, my friends, you might just be one of God's chosen ones. But here's the kicker. With great power comes great responsibility. And sometimes that responsibility means keeping your lips zipped tighter than a miser's wallet. That's right, folks. Today we're going to talk about the 4 things you should never, ever reveal to anyone if you're one of the big guy's VIPs. So buckle up, Buttercup, because this ride's about to get wilder than a squirrel on espresso. Now, before we dive into these cosmic secrets, let me tell you a little story. Picture this. A young woman named Sarah, living in the heart of New York City. She's got a dead-end job, a studio apartment the size of a shoebox, and a love life that's about as exciting as watching paint dry. But Sarah's got a secret. She can see auras. Yeah, you heard me right. This gal can look at someone and see colors swirling around them like a cosmic light show. Pretty cool, huh? Well, Sarah thought so too, until she decided to spill the beans to her best friend over a couple of margaritas. Big mistake. Huge. Her bestie freaked out, called her a witch, and faster than you can say spiritually gifted, Sarah's secret was all over social media. Suddenly, she's dodging calls from skeptics, paranormal researchers, and every wackadoodle with a tinfoil hat within a 100-mile radius. Sarah's story is just one example of why keeping certain gifts under wraps is crucial. But don't worry, my spiritually savvy friends, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to keep on the down low and why. Let's dive into the first thing you should never reveal if you're one of God's chosen ones: your divine purpose. 1. Your divine purpose. All right, listen up, because this is important. Your divine purpose is like the ultimate cosmic mission impossible. It's the reason you were put on this spinning blue marble we call Earth. But here's the thing, it's not for public consumption. Imagine you're a secret agent, which, let's face it, you kind of are as one of God's chosen. Would James Bond go around telling everyone about his next top-secret mission? Heck no. He'd be sipping his martini, shaken not stirred, and keeping his mouth shut tighter than a clam with lockjaw. Your divine purpose is between you and the big guy upstairs. It's like a cosmic game of telephone. If you start blabbing about it to everyone and their dog, the message is going to get real garbled, real fast. Let me break it down for you with another story. Meet Joe, a middle-aged accountant from suburbia. Typical 9-to-5 guy, right? Wrong. Joe had a vision one night that he was meant to bring world peace through the power of interpretive dance. Now, Joe got so excited about this divine revelation that he quit his job, sold his house, and started touring the country, performing impromptu dance numbers in shopping malls and on street corners. He told everyone who would listen, and plenty who wouldn't, about his God-given mission. The result? Let's just say Joe's family staged an intervention. His savings account dried up faster than a puddle in the Sahara, and the only peace he brought was to the squirrels in the park who enjoyed his daily performances. The moral of the story? Keep your divine purpose close to your chest, my friends. It's not that people won't believe you, although let's be real, many won't. It's that your purpose is sacred, personal, and often evolves over time. Sharing it prematurely can lead to misunderstandings, derail your progress, and even attract negative energy from those who might want to interfere with your mission. Plus, let's face it, some divine purposes sound absolutely bonkers when you say them out loud. I'm meant to communicate with extraterrestrial beings through the medium of interpretive dance might not go over well at your next family reunion. Instead of shouting your purpose from the rooftops, focus on living it. Let your actions speak louder than words. Be like a spiritual ninja, stealthily fulfilling your mission without fanfare or explanation. Trust me, when you're truly living your divine purpose, people will notice. They might not know exactly what you're up to, but they'll sense something special about you. Remember, mystery is attractive. It's intriguing, By keeping your divine purpose under wraps, you're not just protecting it, you're also making yourself a more fascinating, enigmatic person. And who doesn't want to be a little mysterious? Now I know what you're thinking, but what if my purpose involves other people? Don't I need to tell them? Well, my spiritually gifted friend, that's where discernment comes in. If your purpose directly involves others, the universe will provide opportunities for you to connect with them in organic, meaningful ways. You won't need to go around announcing your cosmic job description. Think of it like this. You're a puzzle piece in the grand design of the universe. Your job isn't to tell everyone what the whole picture looks like. It's to fit perfectly into your spot and connect with the pieces around you. The big picture will reveal itself in due time. So the next time you feel the urge to spill the beans about your divine purpose, remember Joe and his interpretive dance fiasco. Take a deep breath, smile mysteriously, and keep that cosmic secret locked up tight. Your future self will thank you. Now, let's move on to the second thing you should never reveal if you're one of God's chosen ones. Your spiritual gifts. 2. Your spiritual gifts. All right, my divinely favored friends, let's talk about spiritual gifts. You know, those supernatural abilities that make you feel like a superhero without the spandex suit. Maybe you can see the future, communicate with spirits, or heal people with a touch. Whatever your gift is, it's probably pretty darn cool. But here's the kicker. It's also probably best kept under wraps. But why, you might ask? Twirling your cosmic energy between your fingers like a basketball pro. Shouldn't I use my gifts to help people? Well, yes and no. It's complicated, like trying to explain quantum physics to a goldfish. Let me spin you another yarn to illustrate why blabbing about your spiritual gifts can be as risky as playing hopscotch in a minefield. Meet Sophia, a quiet librarian with a not-so-quiet gift. She could read minds. Now, at first, Sophia thought this was the coolest thing since sliced bread. She could ace every test, win every poker game, and always know exactly what her crush was thinking. Spoiler alert, it wasn't always flattering. Excited about her newfound ability, Sophia decided to share her gift with the world. She went on talk shows, wrote a book, and even started a YouTube channel called Sophia's Psychic Insights. For a while, things were great. She was helping people, solving crimes, and even had her own line of crystal balls, which, between you and me, were just fancy paperweights. But then, things took a turn faster than a Formula One race car. People started accusing her of invading their privacy. Governments got interested in her abilities for all the wrong reasons. Skeptics hounded her day and night, trying to debunk her gift. And don't even get me started on the constant barrage of people asking her to predict lottery numbers or find their lost socks. Poor Sophia went from being a celebrated psychic to a virtual recluse, hiding out in her apartment with a tinfoil hat and a no trespassing sign on her door. All because she couldn't keep her spiritual gift on the down low. Now, I'm not saying you should never use your gifts. Far from it. Your spiritual abilities are like a Swiss Army knife for the soul, incredibly useful when applied correctly. But there's a big difference between using your gifts and advertising them on a billboard. Here's the deal. When you start broadcasting your spiritual gifts, a few things happen. You attract attention, and not always the good kind. Sure, some people will be genuinely interested and supportive, but you'll also draw skeptics, energy vampires, and people who want to use your gifts for their own gain. It's like putting a free buffet sign on your forehead. Everyone's going to want a piece of you. You open yourself up to doubt and criticism. Even if your gifts are 100% legit, there will always be people who don't believe you. And let me tell you, constant skepticism can wear down even the most confident psychic faster than water erodes rock. You risk losing the sacredness of your gift. When something becomes public property, it loses its magic. Your spiritual abilities are intimate, personal connections between you and the divine. Do you really want to turn that into a sideshow attraction? You might inadvertently harm others. Let's say you can see people's past lives. Sounds cool, right? But what if you blurt out to your coworker that they were Attila the Hun in a past life? That's the kind of information that can really mess with someone's day and potentially your employment status. So what should you do instead? Use your gifts quietly, humbly, and with discretion. Be like a spiritual secret agent, helping people behind the scenes without fanfare or recognition. Trust me, it's much more rewarding and far less stressful than being in the spiritual spotlight. If you feel called to use your gifts more openly, start small. Help friends and family without making a big deal about how you're doing it. Let your actions speak louder than words. People will notice the positive impact you have, and that's far more powerful than any proclamation of your abilities. Remember, true power doesn't need to announce itself. A lion doesn't need to tell the jungle that it's a lion. Everyone just knows. Be like that lion, confident in your abilities, without needing to roar about them to the world. And hey, if you're ever in doubt about whether to reveal your gifts, just imagine yourself in Sophia's shoes, hiding out in your apartment with a tinfoil hat. Not a good look, trust me. Now, let's move on to the third thing you should keep under wraps if you're one of the chosen ones: your spiritual experiences. 3. Your spiritual experiences. Alright, my cosmically conscious comrades, let's dive into the wild and woolly world of spiritual experiences. You know what I'm talking about. Those mind-bending, reality-warping moments that make you question everything you thought you knew about the universe. Maybe you've had an out-of-body experience, chatted with your spirit guides, or taken a quick jaunt through a past life. Whatever it was, I bet it was more exciting than binge-watching your favorite show on Netflix. But here's the thing, spiritual experiences are like your underwear. They're personal, they're intimate, and not everyone needs to see them. And if you're the type who likes to show off your underwear, well, that's a whole different kind of spiritual journey. Let me tell you about my buddy Mark. Mark was your average Joe. Worked in IT, liked football, couldn't cook to save his life. But one day, while meditating, which he started doing to lower his blood pressure, not to reach enlightenment, Mark had a whopper of a spiritual experience. We're talking full-on cosmic consciousness, oneness with the universe, the whole shebang. Mark saw the interconnectedness of all things. He understood the meaning of life. Spoiler alert, it's not 42. He even glimpsed the face of God. Turns out, the big guy looks a lot like Morgan Freeman. Who knew? Now, Mark was so blown away by this experience that he couldn't keep it to himself. He started telling everyone, his coworkers, his mailman, even the guy who takes his order at the drive-thru. Hey, you want fries with that? Great. Did I ever tell you about the time I experienced cosmic consciousness? At first, people were intrigued, but as Mark kept talking about his experience, things started to go south. His coworkers started avoiding him at lunch. His family staged an intervention, worried he'd joined a cult. Even his dog started giving him side-eye. The problem wasn't that Mark's experience wasn't real or profound. It was. The problem was that spiritual experiences are like dreams. Fascinating to the person who had them, but often boring or nonsensical to everyone else. Plus, let's face it, some spiritual experiences sound absolutely bonkers when you try to describe them in everyday language. I merged with the cosmic consciousness and understood that time is an illusion. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue at your average cocktail party. But beyond just sounding kooky, there are some solid reasons to keep your spiritual experiences to yourself. They're deeply personal. Your spiritual experiences are tailored specifically for you, your journey, and your growth. They're like cosmic love letters from the universe, meant for your eyes only. They can be misunderstood. Unless someone has had a similar experience, they might not get it. And misunderstanding can lead to judgment, ridicule, or even fear. They can lose their power. Spiritual experiences are sacred. The more you talk about them, the more you risk diluting their impact and meaning for you. They might overshadow your message. If you're trying to share spiritual wisdom or help others, constantly talking about your own wild experiences can actually distract from your message. They can create spiritual ego. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you're special or more evolved because of your experiences. Keeping them private helps you stay humble and grounded. 4. Your spiritual struggles. Alright, my divinely destined friends, we've reached the fourth and final item on our cosmic classified list, your spiritual struggles. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, shouldn't we be open about our challenges? Isn't vulnerability a good thing? Well, yes and no. It's more complicated than a Rubik's Cube in the fourth dimension. Let me spin you a yarn about my friend Rachel. Rachel was what you might call a spiritual powerhouse. She could meditate for hours. Her chakras were always aligned, and her aura was so bright you could probably see it from space. She was the go-to guru for everyone in her circle when they needed spiritual advice or a good sage smudging. But here's the thing. Rachel had struggles too. Sometimes she felt disconnected from her spirituality. Sometimes she questioned her path. And sometimes, believe it or not, she just wanted to binge-watch reality TV instead of communing with the divine. One day, Rachel decided to be authentic and vulnerable. She started sharing all her spiritual struggles on social media. She talked about her doubts, her fears, and that time she fell asleep during an important meditation session and drooled on her crystals. At first, people were supportive. "You're so brave," they said. "Thank you for being real." But then, something shifted. People who used to come to her for guidance started looking elsewhere. Her spiritual workshops had fewer sign-ups. Even her cat started giving her judgmental looks, although, to be fair, cats always look judgmental. Rachel had inadvertently shattered the image people had of her as a spiritual guru. By revealing all her struggles, she'd made herself seem less capable, less enlightened, and frankly, less interesting. She'd pulled back the curtain, and people weren't thrilled with what they saw. Now, I'm not saying you should pretend to be perfect, far from it. But there's a time and a place for sharing your spiritual struggles, and it's not always and with everyone. Here's why keeping your spiritual struggles under wraps most of the time is a smart move. It preserves your spiritual authority. If you're in a position to guide or teach others, they need to trust in your abilities. Constantly sharing your doubts and struggles can erode that trust. It prevents misunderstandings. Spiritual struggles are complex and deeply personal. Sharing them with people who don't have the proper context can lead to misinterpretations and unnecessary worry. It protects your energy. When you're going through a spiritual rough patch, you need to focus on your own healing and growth. Opening up to everyone about your struggles can drain your energy when you need it most. It avoids attracting negative energy. Sadly, there are people out there who feed off others' struggles. By keeping your challenges private, you're less likely to attract these energy vampires. It maintains the sanctity of your journey. Your spiritual path is sacred. Not every bump in the road needs to be public knowledge. And here's a little secret. Sometimes the most powerful way to help others through their spiritual struggles is not by sharing your own, but by being a steady, calming presence. Be the eye of the storm, the calm in the chaos. Your strength can be a beacon for others without you having to lay bare all your own challenges. All right, spiritual seekers, let's wrap this up. We've journeyed through the cosmic landscape of divine secrets, and here's what we've learned. If you're one of God's chosen ones, remember to keep these 4 things under wraps. 1. Your divine purpose. Keep your cosmic mission close to your heart. 2. Your spiritual gifts. Use them wisely and discreetly. 3. Your spiritual experiences. Cherish them privately. 4. Your spiritual struggles. Navigate them quietly. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Journey of Spirits. If you found value in this video, please hit that subscribe button. Your support is the cosmic fuel that keeps this channel going, allowing us to explore more spiritual insights together. Until next time, keep shining that inner light. And remember, sometimes the most powerful truths are the ones we hold in sacred silence.